The date is April 14, 1912. Aboard the RMS Titanic, the largest ship ever built, the night is still and the sea is like glass. Passengers in first class have just finished a lavish 10-course meal. In second and third class, the sounds of music and laughter fill the air. For over 2,200 souls on board, this is more than just a voyage, it's a journey into a new century, a testament to human ingenuity. The ship is a floating palace, hailed as unsinkable. The marvel of modern engineering glides through the frigid North Atlantic, making excellent time on her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City. The air is cold, but the mood is warm and confident. The wireless operators have been receiving ice warnings all day, but in the vastness of the ocean, the danger feels distant, almost abstract. On the bridge, the officers are aware of the potential for ice, but the ship steams ahead at over 22 knots. No one could imagine that in just a few hours, this symbol of progress would become the setting for one of history's most infamous maritime disasters. At 11:40 p.m., high in the crow's nest, lookout Frederick Fleet spots something ahead. A shape, darker than the starry sky, looms directly in their path. An iceberg. He rings the warning bell 3 times and phones the bridge, shouting the fateful words, "Iceberg, right ahead." First Officer William Murdoch immediately orders the engine stopped, and the ship turned hard to starboard, for 37 agonizing seconds. The crew and the few passengers awake on deck hold their breath. The massive ship begins a slow, graceful turn, but it's too late. It's not a head-on collision, but a glancing blow. A deep, grinding shudder runs through the hull as the underwater spur of the iceberg slices along the ship's side, popping rivets and opening a series of gashes below the waterline. Many passengers barely notice it, describing it as a slight jolt, like a heavy wave striking the ship. Others, closer to the point of impact, hear a sound like tearing canvas. The engines stop. An eerie silence descends, broken only by the hiss of steam being vented from the funnels. The great ship is wounded, fatally, down in the boiler rooms. The reality is immediate and terrifying. Seawater, colder than ice, rushes in with incredible force. Stokers and engineers scramble for their lives as the first compartments begin to flood. On the upper decks, confusion begins to spread. Captain Edward Smith, a veteran with 40 years of experience, summons the ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, after a quick inspection of the damage. Andrews delivers the grim verdict: the iceberg has breached the first 5 watertight compartments. The ship was designed to stay afloat with 4 compartments flooded, but not 5. As the boat sinks, water will spill over the tops of the watertight bulkheads, one by one, like water filling an ice cube tray. His calculation is chillingly precise. The Titanic has, at most, 2 hours to live. The unsinkable ship is sinking. The order is given, uncover the lifeboats and get the passengers on deck. The process of evacuation is slow and tragically disorganized. The night is bitterly cold, and many passengers are reluctant to leave the perceived safety of the massive liner for a small wooden boat dangling over a black abyss. There is no panic, at least not at first. The ship's band, led by Wallace Hartley, assembles in the first-class lounge and begins to play cheerful tunes to keep spirits up. The crew struggles with the new lifeboat davits, and with an initial order for women and children first, chaos ensues. Many lifeboats are launched half-empty. The vastness of the ocean and the sheer number of people on board create a logistical nightmare. In third class, located in the lower and more remote parts of the ship, many passengers are trapped behind locked gates or lost in the labyrinth of corridors, struggling to find their way to the boat deck. Their chances are slipping away with every passing minute. As the ship's bow sinks deeper, the angle of the deck becomes steeper. The illusion of safety shatters. Panic begins to set in. The band moves out onto the deck, continuing to play as the ship lists dramatically. Their music, a brave and haunting serenade, becomes the soundtrack to the tragedy. The lifeboats are gone. More than 1,500 people are still on board, crowded on the rising stern. The ship's lights flicker and then go out, plunging everyone into terrifying darkness. The sounds are horrifying: the groan of twisting metal, the crash of furniture and machinery sliding forward inside the ship. Then comes the deafening roar as the first funnel breaks and crashes into the water, creating a wave that sweeps dozens from the deck. The immense stress on the hull becomes too much. With a sound like thunder, the Titanic breaks into between the third and fourth funnels. The stern, now almost vertical, hangs poised against the starry sky for a moment, a silhouette of despair. Then, it begins its final, swift descent. People cling to the railings, to anything they can, before losing their grip and falling into the freezing water. At 2:20 a.m. on April 15th, just 2 hours and 40 minutes after hitting the iceberg, the last piece of the RMS Titanic disappears beneath the waves. The ocean is now filled with the desperate cries of over 1,000 people, fighting for their lives in water that is 4 degrees below freezing. In the lifeboats, survivors can only listen, helpless, to the horrifying symphony of voices. The cold is a merciless killer. Within 20 minutes, the cries begin to fade, replaced by a profound and chilling silence. Only one lifeboat returns to search for survivors, pulling a mere handful of people from the water. The rescue ship, the RMS Carpathia, had received Titanic's distress calls and was steaming at full speed through the same dangerous ice field. It arrives on the scene around 4 o'clock a.m., more than an hour after the Titanic went down. The sight that greets its crew is devastating, a calm sea dotted with icebergs and the floating debris of a once great ship. Over the next few hours, they pull 706 survivors from the lifeboats. They are cold, exhausted, and in a state of profound shock. The world awakens to the news, first with disbelief, then with horror. The loss of the Titanic sent shockwaves across the globe. It was a brutal lesson in the dangers of overconfidence and a stark reminder of the power of nature. The tragedy led to sweeping changes in maritime safety regulations, including the requirement for ships to carry enough lifeboats for everyone on board and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol. Today, the wreck of the Titanic lies on the ocean floor, nearly 2.5 miles deep, a silent monument to the 1,500 people who lost their lives. It's a ghostly, decaying tomb, visited only by deep-sea submersibles. The stories of its passengers and crew, of heroism and cowardice, of love and loss, continue to fascinate and haunt us. The story of the Titanic is more than just a historical event, it's a powerful human drama. It reminds us of the fragility of life and the hubris of believing we can conquer the natural world. It is a cautionary tale that echoes through time, a solemn memorial resting in the eternal darkness of the deep Atlantic. Thank you for watching this journey back in time. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into history. Stay curious.